Everyone stick with the us versus herd. If it's your first time here, like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications from when we go live, tap the bell or post our watch list videos like these. And if you want to join our UvH fam, links are below to our Patreon, Discord, along with our options trading group on Facebook. But right now we're going to get into it. Earnings season is officially back. And looking at the calendar here, we are stacked for the first time in a while. We kind of banks reported today. JP Morgan beat, Citi beat, Goldman Sachs and Wells Fargo missed. So kind of interesting. And I think United actually, let's see, United, what did they just do just right now? What is United's ticker here? UAL, not UAC. Okay. UAL also looked like, yeah, UAL also beat. So right now things are very positive in terms of what's going on with the market, in terms of the earnings. So far there's only been like 2 misses, which is unfortunate, Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs, but that's kind of what's taking the market a little bit higher today. You know, looking at SPY, you know, I look at SPY pretty much every day in terms of opportunity. But one thing that I will point out is, you know, we have a phase 1 trade deal. However, both parties have not signed it. There's no signed agreement for a phase 1 China trade deal. China says they want to discuss further. You know, so far nobody really knows what's going on. No one knows what that means. But the market has gone from 289 up to 298, 299 today. The question is, can it push above 300? Can it push here? Right now, it's obviously looking a little weak. You know, we had big morning moves, and then during the day, this afternoon, really didn't do a whole lot in terms of price action. I mean, it didn't go down, but didn't do anything after we went up like 250 on the day. That was pretty much after the morning move. That was it. This was the move. If you didn't catch it, you didn't make any money out on here unless you're like a premium seller, crushing that IV right there. But SPY, this could easily come back down to 295, 290 area if we do get rejected up here like we have in the past. We have made it to like 301, 302 area before getting rejected. Nothing doesn't say we can't get rejected here back at like 299 area. So, in terms of what I'm thinking is that we need a trade deal like signed. I mean, I'm fine with the price action, but we also are not really getting anywhere. I mean, we're back at the top of the range here, which is also, I think we need a catalyst to really push us out of this range. We did have a nice push. I mean, it did save us on Friday from breaking below like 290 area, but we really really positive momentum with China. But I really just feel like there's not a whole lot going on. The one thing that you will notice, like today, the news has shifted from trade war into earnings. So now the media has something else other to report on. They have other things to write about. Before, the stock market was slow. They had nothing to write about except for trade war, whether it was right, whether it was wrong. But people would just come up with article after article about the trade war. Could it be this? Could it be that? And a lot of speculation. But now that they have other things to write about, thankfully, there really wasn't any trade war news out today. So that's one of the things. I'm just going to be very cautious going into tomorrow. We're sitting up here. I mean, we could easily gap up, push up 300, 302, but you got to remember this is the top of the range. We got rejected the last 3-4 times that we were here. Also, Roku, obviously. Roku inked a deal with Apple TV Plus for their streaming service, and they're currently, obviously they bounced right back off 100. They did stay around 100 and 110 for a few weeks before finally breaking out here to like the 132 area. So Roku, obviously, you don't want to have FOMO, but I mean, at the same time, I think it's going to be kind of interesting here, like the 138 area. If we can push above 138, 140, I think it'll probably recover, So right now I think I would play it to like 140 and then play it to 150 where we've kind of got stopped out here before. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I was hoping for a little pullback, but it just never happened today. I was hoping to play this safe, but it was really just a slow grind up all day, just kind of moving up. Very very small pullbacks here. Not really any pullbacks. I mean, we had a dollar pullback, which is highly. I was expecting something on like Roku. What they normally do is they go up, they come down like $2, go back up, come back down $3, go back up. But today it was like the pullback was like zero pullback today. Every pullback got bought, which is obviously bullish. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is another one. It finally has broken above the 190, 192 area. And, normally you want to buy these breakouts here, but the reason why I'm not is because they still get 23% of the revenues from China. Like I said, there hasn't been a deal with China. I mean, Trump said there was, but no deal has been signed yet. So if we're leaving 23% of the revenues from NVIDIA up to China, I think we got to be concerned about the breakout. So, if I'm going to do anything, it'll be a day trade, but we've been burned by the trade news before. It could come out anytime, no deal. China doesn't want to sign, and this thing will crater back down to 180, 170, maybe even 160. Right now there's a lot of bullish momentum because they think that we have a trade deal. We potentially have a trade deal. I'm not saying we don't, but we don't have a signed agreement yet. So, I'm looking at that. Today, obviously today we should have bought it on the 190 breakout when it broke out above 192.50. We should have bought, and we didn't. Today I was really staying disciplined, and I had a losing day Friday. I didn't trade yesterday, so just really trying to go low and slow into today. Another stock that's kind of interesting here, interesting levels. Tesla capping out here, did touch 260 today. The reason why I'm concerned is last time it was like a 260 area up in here, went up to 265 before we had earnings gap down. We do have earnings on Tesla at not until October 23rd, so about a week from now. So October 23rd, a week and a day from now. So, is this going to, the question is for Tesla, is it going to rip before earnings like you see here last year or last quarter? It went from 229 up to 265 before dropping on earnings. The time before that, the quarter before that, it dropped before earnings and then had a lower. So, is this pulling another, is this going to run for the next week? Is it going to go up to like 265, 280, and then on earnings going to drop, or are they going to do well this earnings? Tesla is always a gamble, but the reason why I'm looking at it right now, because right here we're at the 260, potentially could be resistance. It did fill this gap from the last earnings, so we filled the gap from the last earnings drop, even though it did take a full quarter to get there. So this is pretty interesting to me. I think there's definitely going to be some price action on Tesla. I mean, today wasn't a very good day to trade it. It was a little bit choppy, unless you bought the dip. It was just kind of choppy all day in terms of a day trade stock. We missed it yesterday where it ripped up from 248 up to 258. So you gotta trade those. Anything, if you're looking at Roku and Tesla, you gotta trade those breakouts after it busted through like the 250, should trade the breakout. On Roku, once it busted through, should have traded the breakout as well. So, and NVIDIA should have traded the breakout there as well. So, if anything, because the market was suppressed for the China news, there's going to be more breakouts if things remain positive. So we'd have to keep an eye out on that. Another thing is Johnson & Johnson. Now this is kind of like a pairs trade. Johnson & Johnson, they beat earnings. The stock went up a little bit. They're up about $2. They gapped. Johnson & Johnson gapped up. It looks like they have some after hours movement. Johnson & Johnson gapped up, but was relatively flat all day. We do have some after hours movement right now. I'm not sure what that news is, but there is some after hours movement going on. But kind of pairing it with TEVA, TEVA back at 7 on that, and the reason why you're pairing them is because they're kind of grouped in that opioid lawsuit, and TEVA, also Johnson & Johnson took a big hit, And okay, I was just getting notifications. I thought something's going on because I saw Microsoft down here at 135. I don't know what's going on right now. Anyways, going back to my original thought, it's some crazy price action right now after hours. So Johnson & Johnson and Teva are in that opioid crisis lawsuit, and Johnson & Johnson pulled a profit. They beat expectations even though they're part of that lawsuit, and that's why Teva reacted in the way it has. So, Teva's one that I've been trading. It's been relatively flat here, but this could definitely break it back out to 8 if things are positive. And Johnson & Johnson, obviously, I think if we can get above this like 134 area, I think it'll be a good trade back up to like the 140s. So I'm going to be looking at that kind of a different vibe today in terms of the stocks that I'm looking at. But if you find this video useful, definitely appreciate if you hit the like button. Also, if you watch to the end, leave me a comment. Let me know you watch to the end. Let me know what other stocks you're looking at right now. Hopefully we can learn from each other, grow from each other. As always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.